You see this image? It may look like TV static after you've dropped acid, but believe it or not, it's actually an expensive work of art. It was just sold at Christie's, the same auction house that sold stuff by Da Vinci, Picasso, and Monet, just to name a few. It's the first ever piece of purely digital art that's sold by a major auction house. And when I say it's expensive, I'm talking a whopping $69 million. Yes, you are reading and or hearing that correctly. $69 million. And that's just the beginning. You remember Nyan Cat, that random gif of a Pop-Tart cat farting rainbows across space? That little f***er just sold for over $500,000. The first ever tweet posted to Twitter? That mindless brain fart sold for $2.9 million. And remember Grumpy Cat? He just sold for over $74,000. But hold up. It's easy to get how someone can buy a physical piece of art. I mean, it's there. You can hold it, you can touch it, and you can even break it and steal it. But how do you buy a digital file that pretty much anyone can right-click and make a copy of? The answer is something called an NFT, and everybody's talking about them right now. NFTs are being used to sell everything from digital art to sports highlights to songs to merch from a so-called music festival that turned out to be a massive scam. Seriously, they're selling Fire Festival NFTs. Okay, so quick question. What in the sweet f*** is an NFT? The term NFT is short for non-fungible token. In short, it's like a digital certificate or receipt that says, hey, you see this thingy right here? That belongs to this dude. Even if thousands or millions of people are sharing and distributing copies of an image or a clip or whatever, an NFT holds its value because there's only a limited number of them. You can take a blurry photo of the Mona Lisa, but that doesn't mean you own it. You can even get a canvas of the same size and reproduce every last stroke, but at the end of the day, there's still only one that Leo himself made. An NFT is an attempt to apply this same logic to something that's digital. Because each one is unique, that means only one person can own it. So then, where does the F and NFT come from? What makes something fungible or not? What the hell even is funging? It may sound like a type of porn that you'd never admit to clicking on, but it's actually just a fancy term that lawyers and financial peeps use to classify assets. An asset being something that can have and hold value for a person. A fungible asset is something that can be replaced and or interchanged with something that's identical. A $20 bill, for example, is a fungible asset. You can lend it to someone, for instance, and when they pay you back, you can get a different $20 bill and still get back the same value. Once more, you can get back 2 10s, 4 5s, or even 20 singles, and you'd still be getting back the same value. Even though each $20 bill has its own unique number, there's no real difference in value between one bill and the next. You can apply this same logic to things like gold bars, casino chips, stock shares from the same company, bonds, even unopened boxes of the same cereal. These are all examples of fungible assets. Anything that can be used as money or currency pretty much has to be fungible. The reverse would be something of value that you can't interchange. A work of art, a house, that sweaty towel I caught at a Harry Styles concert to keep under my pillow, or that someone else could keep under their pillow. Anyways, all of these assets would be considered non-fungible because they are, in the words of Beyonce, so yeah, the reason why an NFT is potentially so valuable is because it's unique. So even if every neckbeard on the web thinks he's being original just by throwing the same deal with its sunglasses on every image he finds, only one person can actually own the NFT behind it. And yes, that is a real NFT. But now there's another potential problem. It's easy to verify a non-fungible asset that's tangible, right? There's ways to examine an art piece or a piece of memorabilia to make sure that it's the real deal. But how do you do that with a digital file? Sure, they may only issue one or a limited number of NFTs, but it's still incredibly easy to steal and or duplicate a digital file. So what happens when a bunch of shady characters all show up claiming to be the rightful owner of one particular NFT? Especially if that token is worth millions. Sure, you can keep a record of when someone first buys it, but what if they turn around and sell it to someone else? And even if that person keeps it, how can you make absolutely sure that someone else out there doesn't put together an elaborate crew heist to steal it?
You son of a bitch! I mean!
The answer to these dilemmas is another term that you've probably heard before: blockchain. It's an answer to the question, how do you keep something secure when even huge banks and governments and corporations can't keep their shit on lock? Short answer, you don't. Instead of trying to hide behind a bunch of firewalls and encryption and other fancy computer words, a blockchain keeps everything secure by putting it all out in the open like a messy Twitter feud. Imagine a bag of cash. You may try to keep it safe and secure by keeping it locked in a safe or hidden somewhere secret, but there's always the off chance that someone manages to break in and take it. So, instead, you place that bag in the middle of a packed football stadium. Thousands of eyes are going to be watching that bag at any given moment, and no one's going to be allowed to do anything with it unless you're there to say,
"Hey guys, it's all good, totally cool with this happening."
And just for good measure, everyone in the stadium keeps track of anyone who's ever owned that bag. So, anytime that bag changes hands, there's another record for everyone to keep track of. And if someone's records don't match, we know that there's a problem. That's a simplified version of how it works, except a blockchain does all of that digitally. So instead of a stadium, it's a bunch of machines across the world keeping track of one really high-tech spreadsheet. This is what's being used to keep a bunch of stuff secure, from NFTs to digital money like Bitcoin. Because no one machine controls the entire network, it's essentially almost impossible to take down. Also, as an added bonus, because the whole system is decentralized, there's no need for a big entity like a bank or a government to step in and control it. And it's this combination of advanced tech and decentralization that makes blockchain and digital assets a favorite of everyone from Elon Musk to terrorist organizations to that one guy at work who drinks a Monster Energy instead of coffee in the morning. But even after learning how an NFT works, there's still one glaring question that remains.
What makes an NFT so darn expensive?
The quick answer is because someone's willing to pay that much for it. In the case of this giant Technicolor wet dream, the artist behind it, Beeple, has over 2 million followers on Instagram and has worked with big names like Apple and Louis Vuitton and had his work featured in not one, but 2 Super Bowl halftime shows. The guy who bought the piece doesn't even share his full name, but he did give an interview where he claimed that one day this piece will be worth at least $1 billion. But in reality, there's no real way to know that, and not everybody agrees. A lot of experts are saying that these tokens are only valuable because people are talking about them right now. But if you think about it, that's kind of how other stuff works too, right? Tickets to see Ariana are expensive because lots of people like her and there's only one of her. Jordans cost a pretty penny because lots of people want them and there's only so many to go around. There are a bunch of things out there that are only valuable because lots of people think they are. So really, it's gonna be up to us to determine how valuable these NFTs end up being. But for now, here's something that we do know. If there's any topic out there that's got you scratching your head and you're too scared to ask, you should totally send it our way. Tweet using the hashtag #QuickQuestion or email us at questions@brainjolt.com.
Swipe up to subscribe, and remember, quick questions don't always have quick answers.